All right. Welcome everyone to another live stream. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you're buying the dip as much as you can. Hopefully you had a little bit of spare cash on the side. Abiharam, how are you doing? Very nice to see you. So we're going to take a look at a few tweets. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to talk about the reason behind the dump, but I think all of you already know what happened over the past week. And we're going to take a look at some altcoins because some of them have dropped approximately 50%. And thank you to all of the new patrons that joined us recently. Shout out to all of you guys. And the link to the Patreon is going to be down below in the description if you want to have full access to all of my content on Patreon. You have a 7-day free trial that you can take advantage of. Overty, I'm good. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Hopefully you guys are doing great as well. You can send in your altcoins. We're going to take a look at your altcoins after I cover everything that I want to talk about, as always. And I might sound a little bit weird, but it's because I have Invisalign retainers. So I'm going to have those for the next 9 months or so. So it might sound as if I have a lisp, I think it's called, a lisp, where you can't say a few letters properly, but it's just the retainers. How did Jerome Powell dump the market? A correction was signaling on the charts. CT was way too bullish. We're going to talk about that in a second. And if you want to get a ledger and earn $10 to $20 in Bitcoin for that, there's a link in the description for that as well. So let's start by looking at the Bitcoin chart. Let's see if I go full screen. Is this okay? This should be fine. So right now, Bitcoin is quite far away from this is the monthly chart. Let's go to the weekly, from the weekly 20 EMA. So we still have a little bit of a potential drop of another 13.6% down to the 20 weekly EMA. And if that happens, we're still going to be bullish. We're still in this uptrend. This is just a retracement that happens. And I do believe that we're going to be having a massive uptrend from January. Now, I was talking about a potential correction in December. We covered that on Patreon. We covered that on a few of our live streams right before the correction happened. So hopefully, guys, were able to maybe take a little bit of profits off of your altcoins that went super, super parabolic. Hopefully, you sold your H-bar, your Stellar, and your Algorands, and hopefully you now are reallocating that into some more bullish coins, right? Some AI, Solana-based coins. But I'm just giving you a heads up that we can potentially drop to $82,000 and still be bullish. This is not the end of the market. Now, some people on Twitter would like you to believe that this is the end of the market. And I'm not an ultra bull. I'm not an ultra bear. I just try to go with the data. So we're going to break this tweet down. And we've spoken about the bearish divergence before, and we've spoken about the cycle top before. So what we're going to do right now is, this is from K Kim, and he's saying Bitcoin is finished. 80% Great Depression is coming to wipe out the ignorant generation of meme coins and YOLO gambling idiots who need to be punished for their sins. So I partially agree. I do think that is going to happen. I do think we're going to have a massive correction. Everyone's going to lose their money. 90% of people are going to lose their money. I do believe that's coming. However, I don't believe this is the time where it's going to happen. Now, this person is giving us the bearish divergence on the, I believe this is the weekly RSI, or yeah, this is the weekly RSI. And you can see the RSI printing a lower high with the price action printing a higher high. And you can see the exact same thing playing out right now on the weekly chart. And he's saying because we have the exact same thing happening right now, that means that we're going into a bear market. So this person is not taking into consideration a lot of on-chain indicators. and the fact that we haven't reached the bullish momentum that we were at in 2021 and at the start of 2022. So if we go to the CBBI indicator, and I've covered this one on multiple occasions. So the confidence that we are at peak right now is 80, which is quite high, to be honest. It is quite high. However, if you look at the historic chart here showing us every single cycle peak. So this was 2013 November. The confidence was at 98. This is fine. Okay, I can't. Okay, that's fine. Here the confidence was sitting at 100 back in December 2017. In April, March 2021, the confidence was only sitting at 99. And then for November 11th, we were sitting at 82. So essentially, per the on-chain data, the peak for the previous cycle was in March, April 2021. And then the November pump that actually broke new all-time highs, but in reality was just a wick above the all-time high candle closure. So people don't really consider that the all-time high or the cycle top. Rather, the March, April peak was the cycle top. The confidence was at 98. So we haven't seen anything like that play out at the moment. And if you take a look at the red dot heat map here, you can see how we got very, very overextended here and we got to the dark red area. That hasn't happened yet in this cycle, and it has happened every single cycle. So if this person is correct, then he's saying that this indicator is going to break and we're not going to print a confidence peak at 98 or 100 or like 95, let's say, which is possible, right? It's a possibility. I don't think it's plausible, but it is possible. And I don't think that's probable either. So this person is just trying to kind of instill fear and have the weak hands drop their coins. I'm not sure what his motivations are. The Ponzi Master Permabull. Well, that's not a good description, but Bitcoin's finished. Institutions accumulated heavy on Friday, which is something we have not seen since August and June of this year. Both times, June and August, market rallied without a pullback. So here he's saying that Bitcoin is finished, but here he's saying that institutions are accumulating heavy. I mean, Robert Kiyosaki, I just stopped listening to this guy. There will be pullbacks, corrections, shenanigans, of course. So I'm not even sure what... I already anticipated this will happen while mofos were freaking out in panic. Okay, so essentially I'm not sure if he's trying to grab attention with his tweets, but I don't think this is leading into a bear market because the on-chain data does not support that. If we go to the Pi cycle indicator, every single cycle top was met with a signal flash line here. So if you take a look at the red lines here, you can see that, I'm going to remove that. You can see that the red line flashed whenever the cycle top was set. And as you can see here, it was, again, April 14th, 2021. So this, again, shows us that the cycle top per on-chain data was actually in April 2021 and not in November. And as you can see, in November, we did not even have the second signal, red signal line flashing. So that's something important to consider. We're still quite a bit of quite a bit away from that signal. And this happens once the orange moving average crosses the green moving average, or at least hits it slightly and has a squeeze there. But that is something that you want to be cautious of. You don't want to be a perma bull. You don't want to be a perma bear, but you want to go based on the data. And this guy is just trying to instill fear into people. And, I think you should be taking profits. I think you should have an exit strategy, but I don't think you have to, panic and sell everything. Unless you're new to this and you don't know what are you doing in these markets, then you have to be careful, of course. All right, so that was one thing that I wanted to cover. The other thing is Pith Network is a bullish project that I wanted to just briefly mention so that you can guys look into it yourselves. And this is an Oracle on Solana. The tokenomics are looking good for this project. The market cap is sitting at 1.37 billion. So there's a lot of potential for this project. I'd definitely look into it if you're looking for a serious, safe altcoin on Solana to get into. So PIF would be the project to look for. Hey Hazik, what's your opinion on, instead of spot buying ETH, going with an EVM alt like One or Celo? They seriously moved like a leverage 2x on ETH. Thoughts? So a lot of people are saying that you're better off, buying pretty much anything but ETH. ETH is taking a lot of FUD from people online, and I guess to an extent rightfully so, because of the underperformance, because of the fees. Obviously, everyone hates the fees on Ethereum. However, a lot of people are on the other side of the fence, and they're saying that Ethereum is going to start performing towards the latter part of the bull market, just like how it happened last time. And I think after ETH moves, that's when we're going to have a true alt season, because what we had here, I believe, because I was expecting this to go on for 140 days into February, March. But what actually happened is just we got super overextended very quickly. And we noticed this when we were doing a live stream. My patrons noticed this, and we covered the fact that we went up so quickly. And we were expecting another 80 days or so of this uptrend or this alt season. That did not end up happening. And this reminded me of how quickly Bitcoin went up after we had the ETF approvals. So we went up so quickly and we saw a dump. And I think that's reminiscent of what we're seeing here. Well, the altcoin market went up very quickly, and now we're seeing a cool off period. And then the major alt season, the one that we saw from 2020 into 2021, which is this one from November 2020 into May 2021, we're going to see something like this starting January, possibly into May, right? Maybe at the end of December, who knows? But to me, that's what it looks like, because obviously we dropped down from the upper region here. We're no longer in an alt season. We're approaching Bitcoin season. So that's just a little breakdown on the old season. But in terms of buying Celo and One, they're probably going to do more profits than Ethereum. So the idea is you want to get into something that you're sure is going to outperform Ethereum or Bitcoin. Otherwise, it's always safer to put your money into Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? Why would you go into something that is potentially going to do a 3x when Ethereum is, it's very likely it's going to do at least a 2 to 3x in this cycle. So that's something to consider. And using that logic, yes, you can get into some EVMs. You can get into One. Actually, let's take a look at the price action of One. I haven't looked at it in a while. Okay, so we ran into this massive resistance block between 0.047 down to 0.033, and we're being rejected down to the lower support block between 0.0261 and 0.02256. So this was a good buying opportunity for everyone to get into One. The 20 EMA on the weekly was almost retested there. And look at this white trend line that I had set up. Look how perfectly it bounced off of it. Wow. I think I set it up on the daily. It was based on some previous touches we had. Yeah, from December 2023. And we perfectly wicked down to that area. So you could have grabbed some tokens in that range and you would have been up approximately 40% already if you had set up some buy limit orders. But this was definitely a healthy shakeout. A lot of weak hands thrown overboard, and we're kind of emptying out the space on the train when we finally go into the proper alt season. So yeah, I definitely think that's a good idea. Get into those EVM chains, get into altcoins that can outperform Ethereum. And then once you secure those profits, you can buy Ethereum, you can buy Bitcoin, or you can wait until we have the next crash and then get into Bitcoin and Ethereum at bear market low prices. Because personally, at the moment, I don't have any Bitcoin, I don't have any Ethereum, right? I'm more on the riskier side of the fence. If you're newer to these markets, you definitely want to stick to the top 30, top 20 coins, and that's it. Don't go into anything else because you will lose your money. You're going to lose your money. Trust me. This is my second bull market, and I've learned a lot over the past 3 years. I probably learned more than I did in my uni. So just don't FOMO into things. Don't go all into things because you might be new to the markets. You can make a 2x on a coin, and then you're like, hey, how about I sell all of my coins and I put all that money into this one single coin? Trust me, it's not going to work. That's a bad idea. Unless it's something like Ethereum, Bitcoin, or Cardano, it's not going to be a good idea. So thank you for your question, DCF. And as for your other question, how did Jerome Powell dump the markets? So essentially what happened at the press conference after the FOMC meeting is that he said that inflation is getting stickier. It looks like inflation wants to start going back up again. And also they changed their narrative. Now they're saying we're going to have only 2 interest rate cuts in 2025 with the new Trump administration. And their September projection was that they were going to have 4 interest rate cuts in 2025. So that definitely shifted things a little bit. And now if you look at the CME FedWatch tool indicator, that is essentially giving you the market expectation. Oops, that's the wrong one. Give me 1 second. If you look at the expectations here, you can see that 91.4% is expecting a no change in January on the January 29th meeting, which is going to be 9 days after the Trump inauguration. And then 8.6% are expecting a 25 basis points cut. Those are the probabilities. And then March 19th, we have a 54.9% expectation of a no change, and then a 25 basis points expectation of a 25 basis points cut, and then 3.4% expecting a 50 basis points cut. So it's not looking like we're going to be having a lot of cuts in the near future. However, in the second part of 2025, lots of people are expecting, or I would say the majority of the market is expecting to have more cuts. And again, this is why you don't necessarily take all what these guys say as a fact, right? Jerome Powell could say a bunch of things. He is very slimy. He refused to answer simple questions at the press conference. And, 2 journalists asked the same question 3 times, and he just refused to answer. And the question was, why would you be considering to cut rates at all if the inflation is going to, the inflation rate is going to be going up, right? Because you tend to do that when inflation is, when you've got inflation under control. And he was refusing to answer that question, which again, just goes to show that these guys will say anything they need to say in the moment. And then come the next meeting, they can change their narrative completely. And they can say, well, according to the data that we received, we're going to be doing this and this. So yes, you can react and listen to what they have to say, but never expect them to hold on to their word. That's not something that the US government does. And I know the Fed is not part of the US government, but come on. Jerome Powell literally moves the markets with his eyebrows. If he does like a weird eyebrow move, the markets are going to react to that. So if he's not the US government, then he's in that level with the US government up there. Did you end up buying some Levita AI? No, unfortunately, I didn't. Tristan, hello, my friend. I didn't end up buying any Levita AI. So Levita AI is the medical AI project that we looked into on one of our live streams. The reason I didn't is because I thought about it and I was like, okay, so how much more bullish than other AI coins can this get, because I don't think the medical sector is as bullish as some people would like it to be. And then I saw the volume on Gate.io. It was $193. So I decided not to get into this. But this is a Theta coin. The other Theta coin that I would look into is Thala. I believe this is a Theta coin, right? Oh no, this is actually on Aptos. This is on Aptos. But this is another one that I'm looking into right now. It's still a low cap project. It has more listings. The volume is looking healthier on Mexi and Gate.io. So I would be looking into something like this. They do have a token unlock schedule here. It's not as aggressive as some other vesting schedules. You already have approximately 50% of the supply out, so it's not as bad. And it's a new project as well. They've been trading since April 2023. Yeah, so send in your altcoins, guys, if you want me to take a look at your coin. Maybe you're buying some coins that are quite interesting. Maybe you're buying some AI low caps that are very interesting. Let us know. Look into POG coin. $7.79 million market cap. Also on Theta. What is this about? Is the official currency of the POG Collective's brand, established in partnership with the World POG Federation, with over 200 million collectors and over 10 billion collectibles sold. Globally recognized, the POG brand has captivated over 200 million collectors in more than 40 countries, with over 10 billion collectibles sold, featuring iconic partnerships with franchises like Disney, Barbie, Marvel, and Pokemon. The brand is anchored by Pogman, trademarked the original Pog Champ. I've never heard about this project before. Decentralized pictures and test pilot productions. Okay. No way, they're doing crypto movies. Decentralized pictures and test pilot productions. World premiere 2024. I mean, I'll be honest, the website looks shit. But they do have a lot of collaboration. Look at that. Star Wars, Disney. It is a lot. Maybe this is something I have to look into a little bit deeper to have a proper opinion. Our subchain operates independently from others in the Theta network, preventing a single point of failure from bringing down the entire network. Over 10 billion collectibles sold, they said. I mean, look into this. It doesn't have any centralized exchange listings, so you might be early to this. Aerodrome Finance is where most of the volume is. ThetaSwap only has like less than 2,000 in terms of volume. 54,000 followers. Okay, they're doing some airdrops and giveaways. They're just milking this airdrop with their Twitter posts. I mean, I don't know. They do have a lot of interactions here. Look at that, 3,000 likes, 3.7 thousand likes. I'll look into it. Hey, can you please look at the USDT dominance? It has a weekly bullish divergence. Let's take a look at that. The Canadian dollar, by the way, is sitting at all-time low prices against the US dollar. This is against the Swiss franc. Swiss franc has been performing extremely well against the Canadian dollar. If you go to the monthly chart, look, since 2007, been printing higher highs and higher lows. So if you're in Canada, maybe look into the Swiss franc to preserve your purchasing power, at least to some extent. But let's go to the USDTD. Do they have the dominance chart here? Yeah, they do. A weekly bullish divergence. Yeah, I see that. So that's your lower low, and that's your higher low on the RSI. So that is a bullish divergence, and this is a pretty significant one on the weekly chart. We might have a move to the upside from here. Let's try to add a Fibonacci retracement. Right, you could be looking at maybe something like 7.36 on the chart here. So essentially, when the markets are rallying, the USDT dominance is dropping, obviously because everyone is selling their USDT into altcoins, into crypto. And right now, as the USDT dominance is increasing, that's because people are selling their crypto into USDT. Hopefully that makes sense. So in this instance, we're expecting a long-term downtrend for USDT until the end of this cycle. So what we could be looking at is a potential lower high. This is also a channel down pattern that we can establish. So let's say we break above the channel just briefly and we get to 7.39 and we print a lower high. So this will be your high, lower high. Bitcoin Cash. Everyone's talking about Bitcoin Cash in the comments. What is going on? What is going on with Bitcoin Cash, guys? I thought it was pumping or something. Okay, nothing major happening with Bitcoin Cash. I don't know why everyone was asking for Bitcoin Cash all of a sudden, but trying to break a 7-year trend line. So this is my weekly Bitcoin Cash chart. And I have this trend line all the way from 2017. If we break this yellow trend line, this could be like a really good signal telling us that we might be getting up to $3,000 or $3,100 here for Bitcoin Cash. Of course, first you need to break past the all-time high at 1,474 from the previous cycle, or rather the previous cycle top from May 2021. That's going to be a major target for us for Bitcoin Cash after we break past the yellow resistance trend line. But I think that is going to happen because if you look at Bitcoin Cash, it was performing very, very good from June 2023. And then we have this white support trend line that we've bounced off twice already. So once in June 2023 and then once again in October, November 2024. Then you could also look at this white trend line here to act as resistance in the future. So maybe once we start breaking past the yellow trend line or the resistance yellow trend line, we could run into the white trend line. Okay, because it was our resistance back here in April 2022. I remember us covering Bitcoin Cash back then. We were doing videos on Bitcoin Cash for a long time. So if you go to our channel here and you, let's say, type in, if you go to videos, I think you can search. Yeah, you can search. So if you just type in BCH, look, we've been doing videos on this thing for a very long time. Like some of them are 3 years old. We've been covering Bitcoin Cash for a very long time. But I personally don't have any Bitcoin Cash. I don't buy OG old legacy coins. But it is trying to break a 7-year trend line. Target at $2,000. Well, let's see how this performs. If we have a massive breakout from this yellow resistance trend line, we have a lot of volume coming in. So the volume indicator is going to be showing us that there's lots of money coming into the project. We could be potentially looking at $3,000, which is the cycle top from January 2018 or December 2017. I would say that would be the best case scenario for Bitcoin Cash in the cycle. The 1.618 is at almost $8,000. I don't think we're doing that. I don't think there'll be enough momentum behind Bitcoin Cash to get past $3,000. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but essentially those people that have been holding since December 2017 that bought at those all-time high prices, they could have a chance to break even 7 years later. Hopefully it runs. I have 660 Bitcoin Cash in the bag. Thanks. I keep saying if it flips 1600 as support, we're gonna fly. Yeah, so essentially if we have a massive breakout past the top here from April 2021, and we come back and we retest it as support, or maybe we retest the white trend line as support, and we keep printing higher highs and higher lows, then we could definitely be looking at the 1.272 as the cycle top. Because look, in 2021, we went up from August 2020 into May 2021, and that was 664%, okay? And look at this retrace. So this is, again, August 2024, and let's say into, let's say May 2025, that's a 10x from the August bottom then, there. So it's a bigger move than we had back in 2020, but I think there's more money in the markets and more people are, trying to buy some safer coins. So I would say it is possible. Let's look at the weekly. So no massive bearish divergences. That's good. Let's outline all of the extreme points of greed on the RSI here. So if you look at the RSI, in 2020, in December, we got to the index of 83 on the RSI. So I think once you start getting into this block here, you should start taking profits on Bitcoin Cash, no matter what the price is. And yes, look, back in December 2020, we weren't sitting at all-time high prices, but we were sitting at all-time high RSI. Okay, and then in April rather, we were printing a lower high on the RSI, but on the price action, we were printing a higher high. Look, see that? This is the April high. This is the January, February high. So just because the RSI is in the overbought doesn't mean the price can't keep pumping once the RSI starts dropping. Like that does happen. That happened with Bitcoin. So you don't have to dump your entire bag once the RSI gets up there, but just to be safe, take out your initial investment or sell a good portion of your Bitcoin cash once the weekly RSI gets to that region next time around. And I will be trying to take a lot of profits in March, February, April. I'll be trying to sell a lot because we're going to have another sell in May and go away, in my opinion. And I don't want to sit through a massive correction in the summer. I'd rather just have some spare cash and then get into the projects or take part of my profit and put that into altcoins to ride out into September, October, November 2025. Is altcoin season here? So we spoke about the altcoin season at the start of the live stream. So if you want to rewind back and go to where we were taking a look at the alt season index, feel free to do that. I don't want to repeat what we've already said for the sake of, not wasting a lot of time. What do you think about Near? It kind of quiet around its AI narrative. It is quiet because the AI narrative is taking a little bit of a correction, but I think Near Protocol is still one of the safest coins. It's the top AI coin right now in the AI niche. So if you go to the AI sector, you have the market cap of Near sitting at 6.8 billion, number one altcoin in this sector. And I think this could easily do a 40 to $45 billion market cap. I think it's very doable for Near Protocol. But we can take a look at the price action for a second. Let me know if the audio is doing great, by the way. Want to make sure everything's working properly. Usually I ask that at the beginning of the live stream, but I forgot this time. Okay, so this is Near Protocol. Let's go to the daily. So the fib that we have here is from the bottom in August this year to the top in March 2024. And we're essentially retesting the 0.382 at $4.64. But if you look closely, we're still printing higher highs and higher lows. Look. So we're starting a local uptrend here, and that's good. And if you notice, we broke out of this falling wedge pattern, and we met the target perfectly. I guess almost perfectly. Right? That was the target. From the falling wedge, you got to it, and now you're tracing back down. Near Protocol is one of my biggest bags. I'm still staking on the Ledger Live app, still making passive income. So I have an exit strategy that's available on Patreon. So if you want to know where I'm planning to sell, feel free to do that. We're probably going to update it a little bit because we dropped that around a year ago, and the tokenomics have changed just a little bit. So we're just going to adjust that according to the market cap and the circulating supply that we have right now. But this is a great time to be getting into Near Protocol. Just like this was a great time to be getting into Near in August and September, and we were talking about that, just like how we were talking about Near Protocol dipping below $1. And I was telling everyone to get into Near because this is a really, really good entry below $1. My average is around $1.60, I believe. So make sure to stick around past this bull market. We're going to be, sweeping the lows on Patreon throughout the next bear market. You got any render or Near? Well, I do have Near. I don't have render. We can take a look at render briefly. But render is a really good altcoin to look into right now. Wait, why is it giving me? Render is a powerful altcoin to get into in the AI sector, GPU distribution. Look, media, VR, Almeida Research, multi-coin, scaling, generative AI. So it's one of the safer coins in the AI sector to get into. I'm giving, like I gave this coin to some of my patrons for their portfolios. But let's take a look at the price action. I believe I have it here on this list. No, I don't. Let's quickly add it. Why doesn't it have render? So ideally, you should have been getting into render, in 2023. This was a really good time to get into render. Then you had this really nice opportunity to buy into render over here. So that dip was a really good area. Let's change the opacity just a little bit because I think it's hard to see. Let's do that. So below $5.29 down to $3.40, great buying areas for render. Anything above that, I don't think you're looking at a 10x for render here, to be honest. I might be wrong, but it has done so good already. It's just hard to imagine it doing even better and outperforming other coins. So 28 bucks is what you're looking at here, and that is a 254% from there. From the bear market bottom in June 2022, that is a 10,500%. 10,500, guys, if you got in down there. And this bottomed even before Bitcoin bottomed in November of 2022. I mean, this thing barely had a bear market. This is crazy. Okay, so this was its peak in November 2000. Okay, well, no, I say that, but it did have a proper bear market. It's just it didn't look like it with the logarithmic chart, but it had a 97% correction here from like $10. And then you can also add this trend line here, this massive, massive ascending trend line that you might come back down to in the next cycle, in December 2026 or whatever. So $4 could be your bottom, and 28 bucks is what I'll be looking at just based on this fractal. We can also add a fib here just to kind of see what lines up with what. So between $21 to $34 would be our peak for render. So somewhere in that area based on the 1.272 and the 1.414. I would not be looking like at $70. That's a little bit too overextended in my opinion. Just in my opinion. Again, the market cap is not too big, right? It's just 4 billion. So a 10x from here, realistically speaking, is possible. $40 billion market cap for render by the cycle peak is not unbelievable. But again, we try to be more conservative on this channel. So just have the expectation that every single coin you're going to sell is going to keep pumping after you sell it. If you mentally prepare for that, it's going to be way easier to sell and way easier to kind of leave the markets behind after that. Because if you try to marry each coin, you try to catch the absolute top on each coin, you're going to end up losing money, because once the crash comes into play, you're going to lie to yourself thinking that, no, this is just a retracement and we're going to continue pumping after a while. So that's what I want to avoid. That's what I'm trying to help all of you avoid. And of course, you can do whatever you want with your money and with your coins. Please look at Fala Network. So Fala is something that we reviewed on Patreon months ago, but I decided not to go into it. And realistically speaking, it was not a bad decision. Because it hasn't done a lot. because again, the Polkadot ecosystem is just underperforming across the board. The unlock schedule here is not too bad. It's just a linear unlock of a bunch of tokens, like 0.01% every single day. So every 3 months you have 1% of the total supply out, which is not a lot. It's not a lot. Yeah, it's 10 million tokens every 3 months, essentially. But just by looking at this price action here, this is a really good point to get into Fala. Look, we're sitting at 11 to 13 cents. This is exactly where we're sitting back during the August-September consolidation period. So definitely a great buying opportunity. This is already listed on Binance. The market cap is below 100 million. So it's not as lucrative because the market cap is not super low cap, and it already has Binance, Kraken, OKX, KuCoin listings. So it's not going to have that massive pump during the alt season once it has more listings. We don't have Bybit, right? We don't have Coinbase. So once we have those, potentially we could see more pumps. We don't have crypto.com. We don't have, we have Gate. Okay. So personally, I decided to stay away from this project. And yeah, I'm just focusing in on the base coins. I'm focusing in on some SUI coins. I'm focusing in on AI and gaming coins. Like getting into some gaming coins right now at these prices is very lucrative because after the AI run, we're going to have gaming pumping in the first quarter of 2025. Awesome. We'll look in the RSI greed zone for a bearish divergence, Feb, March. Hopefully we are there. Yeah, I'm going to take profits. You're the man. Thank you. You definitely want to be securing the profits regardless of your targets in February, March. We covered the Chinese New Year and how during that period and their 2-week celebration, we always have a correction in the markets. It's a very important indicator to keep in mind because it literally happened the last 4 years. So in the time frame of their 2-week celebration, we have a retracement or a correction, like a 20-30% correction. So make sure you are taking profits in February, in March, in April. And then I would say by the middle of April, you want to take out a lot of profits off the table because we don't know, right? We don't know if that's going to be the cycle peak. People are going to try to feed you the $300,000 Bitcoin prices, the $250,000 Bitcoin prices, and like a $15 ADA, $1,000 XRP prices. But you have to understand that this is the way it's been every single cycle. Last cycle, it was the 100K Bitcoin hype and that massive bull trap that made a lot of people lose a lot of money. So don't buy into all of those. You don't want to buy into the ultra bulls and you don't want to buy into the ultra bears like K Kim that we already covered here. Can you please check Nosana? Mumtaz Ali, how are you doing, my friend? So Nosana, one of my top holdings right now. We're waiting for the mainnet launch in January. I believe it's January 14th or 15th. And this isn't listed on OKX. This isn't listed on Binance. This isn't listed on Bybit. We have Kraken, but only against the euro. So there's still at least 3 exchanges that we can list on, and that could bring a lot of volume. We don't have KuCoin as well. That's number 4. And on top of that, this is in the AI GPU distribution niche, and this is on the Solana chain. So there's just lots of bullish narratives for Nosana. And I do think you should take some profits when we start pumping closer to the mainnet launch because it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. I'm going to try to take some profits depending on the pump that we have because, again, it's one of my top holdings, and I want to make sure I secure some profits as we start pumping past probably $10. We'll start securing some profits. This guy says, Nosana so undervalued, I'm all in 3 weeks to mainnet. Well, I wouldn't go all in. That's not a good thing to do. One of the worst cases of manipulation I've seen, I'll just hold and wait. No point even looking at the chart when it's like this. I'm bullish in the long run. So a lot of people are saying that the price is being held down intentionally. I'm not sure how true that is. But let's open up the chart. And we did see a dump here from the symmetrical triangle, unfortunately. We did see the dump. And let's see what the target was from the symmetrical triangle to actually we have this trend line. So the target here is around $2.07. I don't know if we're going to be able to get there. We'll see. One thing that you can also look at here on the daily is this trend line over here. So this ascending trend line could be a support level holding that could hold us again. So August 2024, October 2024, we had those touches off of that white trend line. Another trend line you could add here is this one over here. So we're going to change this to like a teal color or something. Okay. And we have a massive, massive range here. So even if we come back down and we retest the bottom trend line there, the bottom support trend line at around $2, the breakout from here is going to be massive in my opinion. And we're going to be retesting $8 in January because we're going to have a mainnet launch. Usually there's a lot of hype around these sort of events. And especially if that lines up with the old season coming back to fruition, coming back to life, you know, we could have a pretty good pump for Nosana. Now, if we apply the fib here from the bottom in August to the top in March 2024, we have a 1.618 target at $30 almost, $29.20. That's going to be your 1.618, and that is roughly a 10x from your current prices. So that's Nosana for you. Look, the RSI on the weekly is in the middle here. Not a lot to be worried about. So the risk to reward here is really good. But keep in mind, this has seen a massive pump from October 2023, like absolutely insane pump. Like we're sitting at $24,000, 24,000% profit from the October 2023 bottom. It's actually insane. And we were sitting at 77,000% profit by February 2024. I mean, these are like insane numbers, guys. And if we take a look at the market cap of Nosana, let me just open up cryptorank.io. So the current market cap is $235 million. The current circulating supply is 83.4% out of the total supply. So the tokenomics are looking extremely good. We have a max supply of 100 million tokens. So there will never be an infinite amount of tokens being added to the circulation. So that's really good. So we have bullish narrative, bullish chain. We have the mainnet launch coming very soon. And we also have good tokenomics. And we don't have a lot of exchange, like top exchange listings yet. And all of those things combined, you know, give you a really good risk to reward ratio on Nosana. We also did a video on this recently on our channel. So if you go to the upload feed and you take a look at this video here from 2 weeks ago, I was talking about Nosana and the potential that it has So Nosana is a really bullish coin in my opinion. And it's 55 minutes. We're coming up to an hour. We're gonna do one last coin, bro. Check Zahao Network and Evernode. Zahao is the first XRPL sidechain with smart contracts, not listed yet either. Evernode is a layer 2 on Zahao. $42.2. I'm gonna save this to my watch list just so I don't forget about this project. Listed on BitTrue. 53.4 thousand. It has the entire circulating supply out, which is really good. Well, 98.04%, pretty much the entire circulating supply. And what was the other one you said? It was Evernode. Evernode is even smaller. $11.66 million. And this saw quite the pump from November, from like the 7 cents range into 34. So that did like a 5x. BitTrue Mexi. Mexi has $900 of volume, of trading volume. So I would definitely go with BitTrue. Is a global permissionless decentralized layer 2 network tailored to hosting hyper-flexible, hyper-scalable dApps that perform as bespoke mini blockchains, empowering developers to build with their choice of language, functionality, geography, and scale, but without needing to invent their own consensus mechanism. Interesting. So just by looking at this, like here the market cap is much higher. So obviously Evernode is more bullish in terms of profit potential. It's a micro cap. Yeah, I agree. So, and no listings. That's the most important thing. We don't have any major listings. So once we get those KuCoins, Gate.io's, Binance's, Kraken's, Crypto.com's, we could see massive volume influx because lots of people are, part of the XRP family or whatever they're called, and they could flood into these projects. It's just that a lot of them can't really do that because they either can't get the centralized exchange, or they don't know how to get any other exchanges besides Coinbase or Kraken. Some have geo restrictions. I would definitely look into these. In terms of the price action chart, this one is definitely a much better buy, but the market cap here is just 4 times the market cap of Evernode. But this one has almost the entire supply out. So I think I'm still gonna prefer Zahao over Evernode. I want to take a look at the tokenomics for Evernode because that's a really important factor. Market cap not available. Yeah, we'll have to look into the vesting schedule for this. So thank you for those suggestions. Once again, guys, if you haven't checked out my Patreon yet, feel free to do that. The link is down below in the description. You can get access to all of my portfolios, all of the low cap gems, 100+ low cap gems that we've covered already. You can see what I'm buying in real time, what I'm selling. We've got into projects like Injective at $1.40. We got into Near Protocol at $1.50. And we got into some other low caps at very, very good entry points. So if you don't want to miss all of those out, feel free to check out our Patreon. And let me know if you learned anything useful in this live stream. Hopefully you guys XRP Army, they're called. That's right. Not the XRP family, the XRP Army. Because the point of this is to bring value to you and to help you grow and make the correct decisions. And hopefully I was able to assist you with that. Let's all try to sell before the cycle top comes into play, and let's all try to make money together in the space. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe and goodbye.